Hello everybody, this is Michael Deep Squad. Today I'm going to show you how to use Google Expeditions, setting it up and making sure that you're ready for having Google Expeditions for a VR experience with your students. This video will also contain some other technical information that may be useful to you. First things first, all of this is done through your personal iPad, so your iPad that has been issued to you by the school. So that you can set it up and have it ready to go. You don't have to wait to get the actual virtual reality kit to get running. So that makes life more convenient. So the first thing you have to do is make sure that you have the Google Expeditions app. And how you do that is going to the App Store and searching for it. So Google and then Expeditions, clicking on it and loading it, and that's the top left hand. It looks like an orange flag kind of with a target around it, and that's exactly what you're looking for. As you can see, mine says open because I already have it. So once you've loaded it, you're going to go ahead and open Google Expeditions, and the first time you open it, you're going to get this welcome to Expeditions and kind of a just kind of some warnings in regards to obviously the use of virtual reality, not using it too much, and if anybody getting dizzy or anything like that, just know that we've done several of these and we've not had any issues, but it's something to be aware of, making sure that you are cognizant of that as you work with the students. So click on I accept. And the first time you're in it, you're actually going to have to sign in with your Google account. And that's how you actually have the students link up with whatever you're presenting. But this is the interface. Up in the left-hand corner, you'll see that there's a guide. If you click on that, you can decide to be the guide or to be an explorer. Obviously, you as the teacher, you want to be the guide, so you're going to click on that orange lead. And then you can start searching. When you're in the searching mode, you can either scroll through by categories, arts and culture, science, environment, or you can actually do searches. So I want to do something like on, say, Greece, and search. This gives me the options that they have in Greece. So I could select those. And what happens is when I figure out one that I would like to pick, I can go ahead and download it. And I click on it when I want to download that one. So, and as you see, when I click on it, the first time you'll see downloading gods and goddesses. And then it gives you a check mark that it's been downloaded. And you can continue to search. There are great expeditions that are available to you. I even like the fact that there's ones that you can actually do tours of museums, or you can do tours of actual college campuses for some of our secondary students, high school students that are looking at possible colleges. And it's a really nice way to search. I actually like this system, that how it's set up. So once you've selected ones that you want to view, it'll be stored on your iPad, and I'll show you how to get to that in a second. What you do is up in the top left-hand corner, there's 3 lines, and you'll see some of the options there. The switch role means that you would go from guide to explorer. Connecting to explorers, I'm going to kind of talk you through that in a little bit, so we'll kind of skip that one. And then the one that's really important, downloaded only. When you click on the little switch next to downloaded only, it will show you, when you go back to the main menu, only the ones that are actually downloaded to your device, so that you don't have to actually go searching for them. They're right there saying these are the ones that you have loaded. There's also some settings features. I wouldn't worry about any of those because actually it's all of them are ready. The defaults are ready for what we need it for. The other options in there is you can send feedback, and there's a help menu. But once you've clicked on downloaded only and go back to the main screen, you'll see these are the ones that we have downloaded. So right now I've downloaded stuff about Aurora Borealis, San Diego Zoo, Greece, and the list goes on, Jamestown Colony. And one of the things that I will tell you is kind of a recommendation is always preview what you're going to see, for the fact that sometimes content is content, and just like anytime you pull digital content from the internet, and maybe too mature for the students you have. Also to make sure that it's in alignment with what you're done with the class. So very important that you kind of preview those things. So once that's done, you're all set, ready to go. The nice thing for you as a teacher, you can always just preview through it, which I'm going to show you the Ocean Safari one. And how you would preview through it is you fire it up. You don't need an actual a viewer to do this, and this is actually going to be the interface you're going to want to use when you're working with your students. So nice thing is you can actually look at all the scripting that is already there in regards to the lessons. So you can read this verbatim if you wanted to, or you could riff on it a little bit and kind of improvise. They even do some beginner thinking questions, intermediate thinking questions, advanced questions. And then as you see each one of these sections here, evading extinction, mother and calf, when I click on those, it will bring me to the scene of what I want the students to see once I've clicked start. So I click that orange start. Okay, right now no explorers found, and that's because obviously we're not in a class. But if I click on each one of these, it'll bring me to that targeted scene where students can see specifically. And the nice thing is in their viewers, they get an arrow and they follow that arrow till they get to that target. If it's pictures, it actually brings them to a specific picture. For example, this one's the mother and a calf, or this one, that breaching. So you actually talk them through the script. When you're done with that section, you click pause. That will actually pause their devices. So they'll get a yellow circle inside their VR, and it will say pause, and that's a good way of having them bring the device down. And then what you do is you bring your finger down to the bottom, and you just slide across, and that brings you to the next scene of that expedition. When you're ready, you click on play, or start, excuse me. And the same thing, it'll bring you to the next one, and you're able to talk through those each for the students, and they're able to see when you click, and once again, brings them to those targeted. The other nice thing about it is you have the option in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a little squiggle next to the people. If you click on that little squiggle, it allows you to write on the screen, and when you write on the screen while you're actually playing to the students, they see exactly what you wrote. You can clear that out, which is kind of nice. Obviously, you can draw arrows or circle things as needed so that the students can see it. And when you're done with that, you can actually clear and bring that through. When you're finished, you just click in the top left-hand corner the X, ask to leave expeditions, and that will leave the expedition with the students. The students will still be linked into you, but they will obviously not have a VR going for them, and usually those students will get a white circle saying connecting or waiting when you're not actually linked in the expedition. So one of the things that you have to do when you get to the VR kit, so it's all set up for you and you're ready to roll, the great thing about our setup is that it has its own standalone Wi-Fi connection to a router. So the nice thing is it doesn't have to connect through our whole network throughout the whole school. It literally is a localized network through just that router and the devices. And those devices are automatically hooked up to that router because those have all been preset. But obviously, since you're using your own personal school iPad, it's not been hooked up to that router yet. So you have to do that the first time you go to launch. So what you would do is go to your settings and click on Wi-Fi. So on the left-hand column, you'll see airplane mode, and just below it, Wi-Fi. You click on that. You want to select the networks that are available. That is part of that virtual reality kit. So you're actually going to want to click the one that says TP link, and it's going to be different at each school. The next part, this one just so happens to be 1FC2, and you want to click the 5G, the underscore 5G, the one that ends in 5G. The reason why is that's a network thing. We want to use a 5G network. That's for localized Wi-Fi is the best way to have a really solid connection. We've, as I said, have done several virtual reality demos already, and we've had zero issues with that connection because of it being localized. So you would click on it, and since I've already been on it once, it'll automatically hook me up, and that's a nice thing. Unless you were to completely default reset your iPad, is once you've gotten hooked up to that the first time, once you're hooked up to it, anytime you come back to that virtual reality kit with your device, you'll be hooked up with it forever. Where you get the password is you can either get it from your instructional technology specialist, or it's located on the back of the router, is where that password is. Please respect the idea that we don't want to share that password with the students, just because we don't want them connecting into that router for any reason. There's really no purpose for it. These routers are not hooked to the internet. You cannot get out to the internet. So just keep that in mind, is that's why it's localized. So currently we are hooked up to that router for the virtual reality kit, which means even including yourself is not hooked up to the internet. So if you wanted to go back to searching or going to say Google or anything, or checking your email while you were doing a virtual reality, obviously not while running it, but you were like during the day, you would have to go click back to your typical Portage PTS, either PTS Conference or PTS Secure, depending on what you're connected to. But for this one, we want to be connected to the router that is part of that virtual reality kit, which is TP-Link 1FC2 5G. So then we would go back once we had all our students and we've issued all the devices, and those students have clicked on Google Expeditions on those devices, and those are just little phones that all the phone features are pulled out of it, so it's like a mini tablet. Those students would launch Expeditions also, and as a follower, you'll see this screen for the students, and on their screen, which I can't show you, unfortunately I can't show you right now, is it will show you connecting with, and it'll have your name, your login, and you want the kids to click follow. Okay, and once they click follow, then they're linked up with you. And you will see as even an Explorer up at the top, you want to make sure that it says you are connected to, and it gives you the name of that router. And as a leader, you want to make sure the same, that yours is saying you are connected to. And then when you are ready, you go to that session. So we're going to do Open Safari and launch it out. And what I always recommend is you hit play or start for the students. And obviously it says no Explorers found because we haven't had it hooked up any phones. And have the students double check to make sure that they can see the first scene, which for this would be the blue ocean like this. If they cannot, it still says connecting or downloading. One of the recommendations or little tricks I've figured out, which is real helpful, is if you click on the very first like scripted part, like evading extinction down here, and it brings you to that picture. A lot of times it'll force a device that may be not connected. It'll bring it to it, but that's very rare and far in between. But just a little trick that if you click to one of the other pictures or sections, it'll actually force that device to connect with it. Once you're finished and you're done with presenting to the students, once again, you click on that left-hand corner, leave, go ahead and exit out of Expeditions. And if you're completely done for the day, just a reminder to go back to your settings, click on your Wi-Fi, and switch it back to PTS Conference. The use of Expeditions is really nice. As I said, when you're going to look for more, just remember that when you're going to look for more options in regards to Expeditions that might be available, just know that you do have to go back to the settings, which is that upper left-hand 3 lines, and turn off download only, and that gets you back to the main interface search. So make sure that you are in that main interface search if you wanted to look for more possibilities. And then once you've downloaded something that you like, once again, you go back to download only, and that gives you what's on your device. You can delete when you are done. So for example, if I want to delete this one, all you do is click on those 3 lines, okay, or the 3 dots, excuse me, up at the top right-hand corner, and just click remove download, confirm, and it'll get rid of those, because it does take memory on your device, because it's actually storing it to the device. And that's what makes this work so well, is that it's actually storing to your local device and then going through that localized router to the student devices, so that there's very little issues in regards to connectivity. The other thing that makes it really nice is the fact that Once you've stored it, it's yours in regards to it's on your device, so you don't have to rely on the internet to get that out to the students. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to help you in any way. Thank you.